obsolete by then.
The front pages of the... Yeah, because obviously one side of this coach is obviously...
Now this is Google Street View. You can see that's the entrance of the tunnel that it went in. And if we switch to the next image, this, we think, you see that green area, clearly a horrendous wait at the schools in Belgium. We've been looking also at a blog that the children will not be home, as you said, 28 dead of them, 22 of them children. A lot of very anxious parents waiting in Belgium right now.
Very, very sad. Mark, thank you very much indeed. Sarah Jane, what else is happening?
David Cameron and President Obama will get back down to serious business this afternoon with discussions on Afghanistan and Syria at the White House. Last night, Mr. Cameron... People detained by authorities in Syria are being subjected to systematic torture. Amnesty International says 31 methods of torture are being used. Water cannon and CS gas could be made available to police forces in an attempt to avoid a repeat of last summer's riots. Well, Jane Dougal is into the Met Police's actions last summer.
Exactly. It's also picked out a couple of measures a bit more readily available. The Scotland Yard Assistant Commissioner said we are determined to do all we can to improve after last summer's unprecedented scenes. Within the pages of the report are a number of areas that the Met Police can do better.
OK, Jane, thanks for that. George Osborne plans to exploit Britain's low borrowing rates by issuing government bonds that won't be repaid for at least 100 years.
Job creation, you set up Raw Talent Academy. And what...
22 children and 6 adults from Belgium have been killed in a bus crash in Switzerland. The students were just 12 years old. It happened in Sierre in the Valais region. 24 others have been taken to hospitals in that region. Well, here's what we know so far this morning. Well, the police chief in one of the Belgian towns where many of the children are from says everyone is grasping for information. Well, Sky's Europe correspondent Robert Nisbet joins us on the phone from Belgium. And Robert, as we were hearing there, relatives of these children scrabbling around for information. What can you tell us? Well, Sky's Mark Stone is here in the studio with us. And Mark, tell us a bit more about this trip. This was a school trip. David Cameron spent the first night of his 3-day visit to America watching basketball with President Obama. But today, the two leaders will get down to business and begin discussions on the violence in Afghanistan and Syria. Sky's US correspondent Dominic Waghorn reports. So here's what's on the agenda for today. Well, Sky's US reporter Hannah Thomas-Peters sent us this update from Washington. Water cannon could be made available to police forces in England and Wales in an attempt to avoid a repeat of last summer's riots. Currently, 24 hours' notice is needed to get water cannon sent over from Northern Ireland. Talk to us about this. Now, this has come after an internal review into the Met Police's actions last summer.
Yeah,
George Osborne plans to exploit Britain's low borrowing rates by issuing government bonds that won't be repaid for at least 100 years. The majority of women in Britain feel there is nothing that can be done to tackle a determined fraudster. A new pill that can extend the life of patients with the most deadly form of skin cancer has been approved for use in the UK. Tributes have been paid to a 12-year-old girl who died after being hit by a rugby ball during a school PE lesson. Councils are to be issued with scorecards measuring how quickly they place children for adoption. Encyclopaedia Britannica is to stop selling its print edition after 240. This is Sky News. The sport is coming up. Employment figures from the Employment Minister, Chris Grayling. He'll be talking to us in a few minutes' time. A new pill which can extend the life of skin cancer sufferers has been approved for use in the UK. Taken twice a day, the drug will work for around half of patients with malignant melanomas, the most deadly form of skin cancer. Sky's health correspondent Thomas Moore reports. This is Sky News. Coming up, we'll have reaction to the latest jobless figure.